Okay, guys, welcome back to DSP Reacts to the Continual Fall of Wings of Redemption documentary by June the King. So far, we've basically got, it was almost like a catch-up to the original documentary that we watched last year. But now we're kind of getting into the more modern stuff. Wings has leaned into his online status as a lolcow. He is benefiting supposedly from that status by charging some of his detractors to use his content. At this point, like people said, he's on Lexapro. He's gotten the surgery. He's losing weight. This is a time of happiness. This is 2019. So in 2019, things were actually looking up for him at this point. Okay? So let's continue. We're getting to, part 2 here. Again, guys, thank you for watching. Consider, supporting the channel if you can, and let's go.
This video posted November 7th, 2019 by Sean Ranklin.
Okay.
The more significant aspect of this video is that this was the last video Sean Ranklin posted.
Really?
Whether due to personal interest or decline of Jordy's rage moments, his absence spoke for itself.
Huh.
Though that's not to say that the documentation of Wings was hindered, but rather received less attention. There are still countless channels that uploaded almost parallel to the frequency that Jordy streamed, preserving events like this 46-minute long conversation with Frederick Knudsen that gives us Jordy under a different light. Typically, we see Wings interacting with trolls either indirectly when addressing his chat, or directly when he joins their Discord and is unable to hold a genuine conversation due to the constant fodder of insults and other comments that typically have him join and maintain an aggressive stance.
And we talked about this last time. There's no reason for him to be talking directly to his detractors. You're never going to get anywhere with them. These are the people, all right? These are the people who directly benefit off of your misery. So to have a reasonable conversation with them is not even, it's not possible. Whatever they will do, they will do what they can to make you miserable so that they can get further benefit. So why would you give them the time of day? I would never, ever directly talk to my detractors. That would be a complete waste of my fans' time, my time, everyone's time. It only benefits them. So jumping into the lion's den, I just don't get. And apparently this is something that he has done over and over and over. And that I will never understand.
But with Knudsen, we see a different side of Jordy, where a mutual respect is present and a neutral conversation can be held.
Right, because Frederick Knudsen didn't have ill intentions against him. Just like in the Down the Rabbit Hole video about me, I don't feel that he had any ill intentions towards me either. He was trying to factually cover, essentially, the rise and fall of what happened with me. And did he get some things wrong? Yeah, he did. But it wasn't like he was being egregiously over-the-top dramatic for personal benefit. So having a discussion with someone like that could be beneficial. Not your trolls, but someone who is genuinely interested in you, the person. That's a different story.
Yeah, I have sort of the opposite relationship with food than you do, where I guess it's kind of similar, where I won't eat until I feel like I've deserved it. Like if I've worked enough today, have I worked enough today to deserve food? And that's its own problem.
Yeah, I can't comprehend what you're putting down right now. It's like my brain.
Yeah, no, exactly. Everyone has their own personal relationship with food, and people think that food is this very universal thing, and it's like, yeah, everyone eats, but not everyone eats or views food the same.
Like watching your video, because I kind of skimmed through it because it's like 2 hours long, and I've lived.
I don't blame you.
I've lived through everything in the video, so
you don't need a fucking recap.
But I was really depressed at how fat I was in a lot of those scenes.
You
don't realize how fat you are until you go back and look at you at your worst.
Mm-hmm.
I will actually agree with that statement. Not that I've ever been the size of Wings of Redemption. But I look back at my original content when I was first posted on YouTube and I revealed who I was and I was on camera. And I was around 230, 240. Today I'm down to maybe 205, 210. And yeah, I look at that, oh my God, what was I doing? Why was I eating that much? And eating bad so often. And he's right. You don't realize it until later after the fact. When you're not looking like that anymore and then you look at yourself, you're like, oh my God, what was going on there?
And I look at that stuff, I'm like, how did I even think I was deserving of another person loving me at that weight?
Well, that I disagree with. Your size.
There are other moments where a more upbeat Jordy is captured, but those typically don't get as much attention. Take, for example, this short clip uploaded by Lumix, a hired hoodlum.
Alright, Jordy, they want you to rage when I do it, too.
Okay, I got you.
We
Hey,
gotta get some good footage.
hold up, motherfucker. I'm gonna get $5 of this, right? What the hell?
Fake rage. So he's really leaning into it now, right?
I gotta act and everything.
You gotta give them a sub, bro.
Alright, Jordy, get ready. Come on. You ready for this? Any last orders?
Fuck!
Oh,
Why the fuck you do that, Skate? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get fake rage, you know, like the reason that rage or any kind of reaction is funny in the moment is because in the moment it's legit, it's unexpected. If you know it's coming, I don't understand why that's funny. You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
That would be like saying you see someone trip and fall and it's funny because they fell and it was unexpected. If you knew they were about to fall, then it's not funny, right? So it's the same thing here. It's kind of weird.
This is a rare occasion where Jordy plays into the rage he is known for. These moments are few and far between, especially now with the bad news that kicked off 2020.
Uh-oh.
Jordy's grandmother, known to the stream as Gangster Grandma, renowned for her ability to eat a raw onion, but more importantly because she cared much for Jordy and Jordy cared much for her. To him, she was very close to a second mother. That's why this news hit not only him, but the community very hard. When it was revealed that she had fallen ill as a mass on her lungs was found, and she was later diagnosed with 3 different types of cancer.
Oh my god.
An equally shocking discovery, though much less somber, was when in the following month, Jordy announced he was getting married.
And like people are concerned about how fast I'm getting married. I mean, me and this girl have been like off and on for 6 years. And the reason we've been off and on is I kept pushing her away.
See, this I don't remember. I'm trying to remember the situation in the first documentary a year ago because he had several different relationships, am I correct? Like at least 2 in his earlier days. But then I guess there was a long span where he didn't have anything like that. So you didn't know anything about his personal life. So now he's saying, "Oh, well, during that whole time, actually, I was dating a girl on and off." I think that's what I'm understanding. Okay.
Mainly because of one simple reason. Like, she's super religious. I'm not. Right? Like, religion's a big part of her life. And I'm not so concerned about her being religious as if we had children, I wouldn't want them to be forced into religion.
Okay.
But
it's respectable, I think.
I recently decided I don't want kids. There's a good chance she can't have kids. And that took away all the like downsides of like, hey, we probably won't work out long distance because like you want children. I don't know if I want children. I don't think we'll agree with how to raise children. So all that went out the window. So like there's no reason not to date. And at the same time, it's like she's one of the few people in my life that's always been there for me. Like through all the other girls and hoes and shit like that, she's been the universal constant. So do I think I'm rushing a marriage? No, not really. I think I'm getting married to the right person.
Okay, I don't.
Though he would not.
That sounds pretty reasonable to me. Everything he said there. It's okay. You don't have to have a 100% agreement on religious beliefs. You could still be with a person, you know, and respectable that if they were disagreeing on what they wanted to do with kids, that's why they didn't want to be together permanently. Because you don't want to do the thing that's wrong for the child, right? Especially if there's going to be disagreements on how to raise the child or whatever. But if they've agreed to collectively they're not going to have kids, that was actually really nice and heartfelt. And wow, that was a interesting segment into this man, right? Wow, that was very nice.
Not disclose the identity of his fiancée, bringing into question if she actually existed. To offer proof, Jordy showed the container for the ring on stream. But if his fiance's existence did not come into question by the trolls, his faithfulness did, for reasons such as his previously active Plenty of Fish profile. As one of his most dedicated but also considered to be a disturbed troll, catfished him on the website and carried a conversation during the time Wings was supposedly in a committed relationship with his girlfriend, now turned fiancée.
What the hell what was this called? Something of fish? Millions of fish? What the fuck is that? I'm assuming they're saying it's a dating website. I promise you I don't try to let anybody into my personal life. That is why they are fishing with messages on a dating site. I even say I already have a girlfriend to try and discourage this behavior. I'm confused. Plenty of Fish, it's called. Plenty of Fish. Okay, I don't know anything about this. So what again, here's the new drama. Supposedly he has a profile on this site, and people are saying that he was getting catfished by his detractors when he's in a committed relationship with a woman. Is there evidence this is real? Is this horseshit? I don't know.
There was also that time, shortly after announcing his marriage, a website used to hire escorts
skipthegames.com was in his search history, in his browser. Huh.
Filled in his search bar. This meant very little, but it allowed trolls to speculate why Jordy may have visited the site. It could have been because the year prior, escorts were sent to his house by trolls and was curious to know the source.
Wow.
But the larger question was, what were Jordy's...
Again, I will say this. I'm sorry, all that shit, I'm going to send something to someone's house. That's beyond fucked. That's a violation of so many things. It's wrong. It's a violation of your safety, your private space. You don't know if the person you're sending to their house is a fucking nut job. You can't do that shit. It's fucked up. Anything to do with, doing that stuff, that's horrible. The worst thing you could do. You can't be doing that. Okay?
Tensions and marrying this mysterious person. And that was seemingly answer to what appears to be rumors. As during an event, maybe a stream or private messages, he seemed to have given away key details like that she had previously fought cancer and is a registered nurse with insurance. With this information, a troll was able to find Jordy's fiance's identity via his Facebook profile and was able to turn her family against him.
Here we go.
Here's what actually happened. Wings claimed he was getting married, and then someone did some research and found out that she has cancer, and she's about to have a cancer surgery this spring. Meanwhile, he just bought her a ring, even though they told him not to buy a ring. And I guess she wants kids immediately, whereas he doesn't want kids at all. And he claimed that she was a nurse who made...
Okay. Do we really have to do this again? I can't believe it's a year later and we have to do this fucking shit again. Are you ready? I'm sorry, I gotta do it. This is really pissing me off. This is really sincerely pissing me off. You fuckers kicked him off your podcast. Okay? You kicked him off. He's out of your lives now. Why the fuck are you talking about his personal shit and his troll shit on your fucking podcast? What is wrong with you? He is not part of your content. Why do you do this? It happened last year in the documentary we watched. He's off the podcast, but they're constantly bringing him back in as the topic of discussion. I'm sorry. If all you can do is talk shit about someone who used to be your friend, you have no content. You have none. Your content is shit. You have degraded yourself to the point where all you can do is talk shit about someone because it gives you a rise in viewership and attention. So you go back and you beat the dead horse again and again and again. If you kicked him off of your show, all right, and you're done with him, you are done with him. You don't keep pulling him back in whenever it's convenient for you for your personal fucking benefit. This is the most underhanded, vile, pussy willow bullshit. Oh, we could talk shit about him. Our shit doesn't stink. Let's talk about all the conspiracy theories about him on our show. Fuck you. No, really. Fuck off, every one of you on PKA. Watch this clip. Darkside Phil says, fuck you. You guys are fucking vile. Doing this shit over and over to this guy. What the fuck is your fucking problem, man? Stop. Move on. Leave him the fuck alone. Do you really need his troll shit amplified on your fucking podcast that's supposed to be legit? What is wrong with you? How do you not understand this is wrong? That's a good question. How the fuck do you not understand this kind of behavior is toxic, wrong, and harmful? I don't get it. How do you in life, how does your mind not say, man, you know, this guy's not part of our lives anymore. We kicked him off of our podcast. He's not part of our business anymore. Yet somehow we just keep bringing it back to him. How do you not get that that's wrong? Anyone with a moral compass would tell you that's fucking wrong. Stop. Move on. But it seems to me these guys get a rise out of it, right? I guarantee you, when they do a podcast and they have a segment like this about wings, oh my God, they probably get a view spike, an attention spike from all of his trolls. Come and watch it. Just like something that happened to me recently. Oh, all the trolls come and support the podcast today because they're talking shit about wings, right? So let's be honest about what this really is, right? Let's be really honest about what it is. It's called exploitation. You exploit wings over and over for personal gain. You're pathetic. You're just as bad as all of his trolls, all right? Every one of you who's involved in this situation talking shit about him. You're pathetic. You need to fucking stop with this bullshit and grow up and move on from wings. There's no reason to be bringing up his personal shit in your content like this. It's fucked. It's beyond fucked. It's immoral. It's wrong. Sorry, that's my take. You guys can disagree. That's fine for you to disagree. My take is to constantly be bringing this shit up over and over is just really messed up. And it hurts me to see this behavior. Why are we watching the Painkiller Already podcast talk about stuff that the trolls are talking about in his life? Doxing his fucking girlfriend or whatever. Like, come on. How do you not get that's wrong and harmful? How do people accept this and say this is acceptable behavior? It's not.
Bank, and now he was going to have expendable income and free health insurance. And at no point do you see him like, oh, I love this person so much. We have such a deep connection. I want to spend the rest of my life with him. It's more like free health insurance, and I'll have somebody
more like it's financially advantageous.
The caveat to all this, I've later learned,
This is such bullshit.
the person
it's so
who
unfair to
assembled
him.
this data and talked to the person's mom and this and that is Wings' parallel of Boogie's biggest anti-fan. I don't know what to call him, hater or whatever. So, like, he just takes everything he knows and paints it in the worst possible light. It
This
does
is also
appear.
the guy that catfished Wings. This guy catfished Wings a while back and then posted all of their conversations. He posed as a woman who lived near Wings, and when in reality he's a gentleman from Canada.
Tremendous
And,
time investment. Huge.
Like 2 months of catfishing, and then he
Do
posted.
you think that's a lot of time investment? You guys know that I had a moderator who pretended to be another person for a year and a half, right? Like literally built a whole online persona of who they were, lied to myself, lied to my moderator team, befriended my other moderators, had personal conversations with them for a year and a half. 2 months is nothing for these people. 2 months is like, oh, I had nothing to do. This is a fun project for me, you know? And they're like, oh, tremendous time investment. No. You don't understand how deep the troll shit goes. If you think that that's a big deal, it's not. In perspective of shit, it's definitely not. Okay? But again, is there any evidence that the catfish stuff is real? Again, I don't know. This is just people talking about it on the net. I don't know if you can believe it. It sounds to me like bullshit. I'm sorry. Again, from my perspective and all the shit that's been said about me, oh, there's evidence. It's not true. I know for a fact it's not true. But all this evidence is presented. I don't know if I believe the catfishing shit. I don't think I do. I think it sounds like it's just so convenient. Right? Isn't it just so convenient that all this happens when he says he's found someone, he's happy. You know, you talk about marriage, and then all this shit comes up out of nowhere, right? It's like, what? Now all this stuff conveniently appeared. I don't know, man. I don't
Did
know.
all the screenshots and stuff of Wings.
His frustration on his streams around this time, and a discovery that she was once again active on Plenty of Fish, was
What? What is this fucking Plenty of Fish site? What is what the fuck? The wedding is off because she's active on Plenty of Fish. Which host wins the bet for that bombshell? Her mother has confirmed everything is off and asked Wings not to bother buying a ring. Sadly, he has. Jesus Christ. We're only 20 minutes in. I'm already disgusted by all this shit.
Enough information to piece together that the marriage was no longer taking place. With the troll succeeding in sabotaging his marriage and the declining health of his grandmother, there was a sort of relapse.
Yeah, I can't imagine
Yeah,
why.
I've been going the opposite way in weight lately. I mean, like, I've been eating like shit ever since, like, the trolls went and kind of fucked with my marriage and, like, got her family against me, and, like, I've been trying to deal with that mess, and I don't know. I just been super depressed and unhappy. I mean, like, my grandma
See,
got back.
this is half the story. Because what did they do? First of all, they shouldn't have figured out who she was. They shouldn't have contacted her family, right? What did they do to get the family against him, right? Like, what happened? It's fucked up. Like, what the hell happened there? What did they tell the family? I mean, he's got a dark history. That doesn't mean that the future is going to be dark too. I'm sorry. I'm a firm believer that people can change for the better. And if this guy's happy with her, then they should be happy together and not have other people fucking with it. Why? What did they say to the family? You know, Jesus.
Diagnosed with cancer. Trolls fuck with my marriage. They're trying to fuck with me on the taxes. I mean, just a bunch of little things. Like I got a fucking nail in one of my tires. I had to replace that. That's $300 I didn't want to spend. And like I haven't been motivated to do anything lately.
Not surprising, at all.
I've just been sleeping a lot and just kind of like meandering through life.
Though Jordy never stopped consuming fast food post-surgery, there was a noticeable uptick in consumption of fast food and Yoo-hoos. Yoo-hoos are in essence carbonated chocolate milk in a can.
Ugh.
There was hardly a day with motivation to stray away from his former and now current eating patterns, as throughout March there were multiple instances that showcased an increase in his caloric intake, even stating that he had gained 10 pounds due to it.
I'm actually around the same size. The only thing different is like I've just not been hiding it on the camera. Like I haven't really gained hardly any weight. I've gained a little bit. I have gained some weight back, but it's been like 10 pounds. Like
So he said he lost 70 and then he gained 10 back. The one thing that I think is a problem is that he's, as you can see, he's documented eating and drinking this stuff on camera, right? Like he's always like me. What do I drink on camera? Seltzer water. Do you ever see me eating on camera? Only when I order food for like a meal, right? That's it. But I guess this guy is snacking and drinking Yoo-hoos and stuff, and so of course people are gonna bring it up, and then it becomes a problem, right? It's just messed up. You know what I'm saying? And I get that. Like, I understand how this became a thing that people kind of ragged on him for because of that. But that's something that maybe he should have changed over the years. Like, he definitely didn't have to be eating and drinking like that on camera, and then it's going to become a thing of contention. Like, honestly, if he wasn't drinking Yoo-hoos and doing this stuff on camera, would people have noticed that he gained a little bit of weight back? Probably not right away, right? And then people know, well, you're drinking Yoo-hoo all day. Obviously, this is bad, right? So
actually around the same size. Like this is still a 3X shirt. I'll show it. Yeah, this is still a 3X shirt. Like I'm not even in a 4X anymore. Like these are 3X pants. Like I have clothes I can't even wear.
To make matters worse, by the end of the month, he leaked his phone number again in the exact same fashion he did so last year.
What?
As through car gurus, he was looking at trucks to purchase. But as bothersome as it may be,
now I'm really confused. He did it once, then he did it again. Why is he looking for another car? Didn't he just buy one? Like, for me, buying a car is like a long-term, life-changing thing. Buying a car is a commitment. It's expensive. There's payments involved. Usually credit checks involved. He's buying another car within a year? Because we're still in 2020 now, right? And the other one was 2019. So within 1 year, he's buying 2 vehicles? Here's the thing. If you're going to do that, fine. But I wouldn't do that on stream. Like, you know what I mean? It seems like over the years, what I learned is that the less you share, the better, right? Keep your content confined to what you want to show to the world. I know that now. I didn't used to know that. And I used to share everything, and then everything got all fucked up because of it. He's just sharing everything. He's like, oh, I'm looking for a car again. We're doing this again. oh, look, I doxed myself again. Like, no, man. I say that's bad. You got to stop with that. Stop mixing the personal with what's public. You know what I'm saying? I definitely think this is a big mistake because this is what's just going to put more eyes on you.
A phone number can be changed. The worsening issue that required change was still his weight gain. The surgery Jordy opted for was a gastric sleeve surgery, one that removes a significant portion of the stomach, allowing only a small amount of food to be present at any given time. Eventually, the stomach expands once more and the weight loss may plateau. It is not uncommon for those who get the surgery to gain all the weight back and then some.
So that's what he got.
And for viewers, Jordy was certainly on that path, as due to the pandemic, Jordy had recently purchased a stockpile of food consisting of canned goods and ramen noodles. Individual portions of these are insignificant when considering how they may affect a person's weight. But how Jordy was eating voraciously, though he couldn't physically stomach large amounts of food at once, he could continuously eat throughout the day and eat small segmented portions that eventually equal the large portion that was impossible to take on all at once. This being reflected by the common sight of him eating on stream, though outside influences like his failed wedding could and was being used as an excuse for his reduced commitment to eat less.
So
But
what they're
that was
saying
no-
is he didn't gorge himself. He just ate constantly. So there was always a constant, small amount going through him, and it just added up. As opposed to he didn't just sit there and eat like a giant unhealthy meal. He was constantly eating all these snacks and things that he bought during the pandemic.
No longer the case. It was 2 months. 2 months of Jordy drinking Yoo-Hoos and eating on stream. The sight of such an activity welcomed the chat to use the Yoo-Hoo emote, as it was now a meme of sorts. Then, a picture of Jordy in formal wear began making the rounds through the internet. Then another. Sometime in late May 2020, Jordy and his wife-to-be went through the wedding, with the
They
news
did
of it going public mid-June.
All right. So we know I got a puppy, right? And
He also
I
has a lot of pets. He has a cat, and now he's a puppy. There's various different pets in his videos, too.
already have 2 cats and Bongo. Right? The reason we got the puppy is I got married.
You got the puppy because you got married.
And so Kelly, Jordy's wife, and Bailey, the dog the couple adopted, was now attached to his life and story, and was brought to many viewers' attention in an equally chaotic fashion. Even for what is typical of his life, this was unexpected.
Thank you very much. We are staying on top of some late-breaking news overnight. Police say a man and a woman have been busy robbing businesses on the northwest side.
What?
Now, unfortunately for them, officers were also
Okay,
on
this is definitely not them. This is someone reported it as them, and it's not them.
the job, and they managed to catch up with them. Katrina Weber live where the arrest happened, which is near Highway 151 in Petrenko. And you say it was a case of police being in the right place at the right time, Katrina.
Well, that's right. Those officers just happened to be passing by this area at the time when the call came in about a robbery here around 4:30 this morning. Those officers were actually on their way to yet another robbery call out on Culebra Road near Loop 1604. That's when the robbery call here came in. They say they caught the couple in action, arresting a woman who was still inside this Texaco gas station store. A man tried to run, according to police, but they ran him down and caught him on the access road. They found the couple's car still in the parking lot. Police say that this couple robbed 2 other stores in the medical center area. And again, they've both been arrested and they face a long list of charges, included aggravated robbery.
So
in those clips was Jordy Jordan and his wife Kelly.
That's Target. You can see there's Target shopping carts behind them.
Kelly, who was now introduced to the online community through this video, because that news report was about an actual robbery taking place at a gas station in San Antonio, Texas, while Jordy lives in South Carolina. There was no belief that this was legitimate.
What the fuck?
Beyond that was spliced footage of what seems to be Jordy when he attended the FPS boot
What
camp
the
and the
fuck?
security camera
This
footage.
is a real news story? They put this shit out? What? Dude, this is massive grounds for a lawsuit. You can't do that shit. You can't put that shit on the news if you don't vet it. You can't put out a camera saying you're a criminal. You can't take unrelated footage and splice it in like it's related. That is 1,000,000% you could sue the fuck out of them if this is the news story.
That seems to be playing back on a monitor at the store, but being recorded vertically with a phone. Jordy was not pleased with the fakery that is the splicing of these clips, nor the origin of him making that transaction.
I went to an Office Depot recently, and
people are saying it wasn't on the news. Then what was that? The news clip was edited in. So you're saying that was not a legit news report. Where was the video from? The video was from a troll channel? So then why would you believe it if it was only listed on a troll channel? I thought this was a legit... I mean, this is presented to me like it's a real news report. I thought it was legit, like, right off the TV. No, people are saying this is only on a YouTube channel. Well, that's bullshit then. So, okay. So it's not as serious as it seems. Okay, here's this real story, because this is hard to understand. Apparently, it was a troll, took a real news report, spliced in those clips, and then re-uploaded it to the internet. And, of course, his trolls start passing it around, saying it's a real news report. Okay, that's a better context for sure. I thought it was a legit news report. I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's insane grounds for getting sued into oblivion. You can't have a news report like that. That's completely fake. You know, there's millions of dollars right there.
They took video. One of the employees took security footage and stole it and took it home of me making a transaction, and then they edited it into a news feed of a gas station robbery.
Huh.
So I'm currently looking for lawyers for a defamation suit against Office Depot.
What? Office Depot?
That isn't legal defamation?
Defamation?
I mean, like, for somebody to have access to the security camera, right?
That wasn't Office Depot. That was Target.
They would have to be a manager or hire at least a key holder of Office Depot. That means that's one of their more trusted employees. So he used Office Depot resources to get video footage of me, and then use...
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Legally, what would happen here? People are saying maybe it was Office Depot. Those look like Target carts to me. I thought it was Target. All right. Oh, it's Office Depot. It's Office Depot. But I'm trying to think, like, could they be sued for that? If it's an employee that's a bad actor... And, of course, Office Depot, I'm sure, has rules against it. It's not like they say, oh, any employee could just take our security footage no matter what. This was an employee who was a bad actor. So I don't think he could get anything. Like, I don't think he could sue Office Depot and win. I think what would happen is, you know, Office Depot would have to investigate and fire the employee involved. But as long as they have a policy against it, I don't think that he would be able to sue Office Depot and get anything out of it. Because it's their, you know, that would be like saying, you know, I work at Target. And, you know, okay, someone works at Target. And, of course, Target has policy on how to use all their stuff. Well, one day, someone goes crazy, goes into the lawn department, grabs shears, and starts chopping people up in the store with the shears. Well, Target's not responsible for that. The guy's nuts. That's not store. You can't do that. You can't, it's store policy. You can't use fucking things to assault people, right? There's, like, security. They have rules in place. The person was not supposed to fucking record that and put it on the internet. I don't think the company would be liable. I don't think so. I understand why he'd be so upset and he'd be looking into it, for sure. But I don't think they would be liable for that.
Then in his free time, defame my character by pretending that I was stealing from stores.
It's defamed. It's defamed, Jordy.
Defamation, like the defamation part
Not
is them
defamation,
accusing me of stealing.
Forget it.
Though Jordy said deformation and defamed, what he most likely meant was defamation. Which can be defined as the action of damaging the good reputation of someone, slander or libel. It is
so
rare
wait a minute,
for
it's the same
a defamation.
thing. Defamation and slander or libel are the same? So it doesn't matter what word you use. I didn't even know that. Okay, so I can say whatever I want. I think what it is illegally, defamation is considered one form and slander or libel is another. I think one is spoken and one is, like, written. Legally, I think.
to be won and difficult of such winnings to be calculated, especially in Jordy's case, as it's not damaging his good reputation per se, as he's already an infamous figure, and due to that would be ever more difficult to prove that this event heavily damaged his reputation.
Right, what you would have to do, in a court of law, you would have to prove that that somehow hurt you to the point where it actually hurt like your business. And then you could say, well, here's how it hurt my business. This amount of loss, because this happened to me, and then you could quantify it, and then you could sue for that amount. So he would have to prove that that false report somehow hurt his business and that he lost money because of it. And that's going to be rough to figure out and actually prove.
Even with this fakery taking place, it seems he was optimistic with varying facets of his life, as seen on this stream on July 2020, a little over a week after that fake robbery scandal.
I'm over here losing weight, married, happy as I could fucking be, new truck, house paid for, and the way you're trying to ruin my life is by charging back $3 that I don't even realize that's missing most of the time.
Water my boy, you cap. We deploy.
Keep doing you, pimp.
That was a calm response.
It took only 2 weeks after this stream for him to have a change of heart and accept that he was feeding into old habits.
I have lost weight. I've lost 140 pounds. But my goal weight was 250, and I didn't make that.
He lost a whole 140 pounds. Huh. Sarah just did a super chat, says, in the USA, you actually have to follow what's considered a strict checklist for the weight loss surgery. Like, you would have to show that you're doing therapy and you have proven weight loss. In Mexico, you just give the money and they do it, and that's it. That's the end of it. That could definitely be a reason why he did it in Mexico. I mean, we talked about this last time, that just because you lose the weight doesn't mean you're going to keep it off unless you have the plan and the support and the mental fortitude to have it work long term. It'll always work short term, but it's not going to stick unless you have all those things in place. So I guess in the US, it sounds like you need to have all that in place. They won't even do it. Plum Girl says, FYI, the trolls didn't pass out the video saying it was real. It was a parody edited video. Nobody was pretending or thinking it was real. Okay. See, again, the way it was presented in this, it looked like that was on TV. I was like, oh shit, they run that on TV? So it was just a troll video where they edited together. I see. I mean, for Wings, I would say the thing that would be upsetting would be that now they've got, his wife on camera, which he never intended. But then again, I guess also they already doxed her, which is fucked up. So.
And I've gained probably 20 pounds back since then. And, I don't like where I'm at because I don't want to be going back up, but I am going back up, and I'm struggling to change my eating habits.
Being displeased, some of the more active and considerably disliked members of Jordy's trolling community used Jordy's weight gain and other unfavorable clips of him saying the N-word and controversial statements involving minors as a sort of justification to further tarnish Jordy's reputation to differing effect, with 2 notable events taking place in August of 2020.
Okay.
But the ones that targeted organizations and community members close to Jordy seem to be more effective in getting his attention, while also getting more opposition for taking it to that level.
We were talking about how deep the hate goes. Let me tell you exactly. I understand I'm boring. I understand that I failed weight loss surgery. I understand that everybody's severely disappointed in me. Right? But you guys take it too far. You take it too far. Let me give you an example of what they're doing to me right now. They're taking pictures that I put on my Twitter, right? And they're putting racist messages on them, and they're sending them to local Black Lives Matter groups in my area. They're getting into these groups on Facebook and then posting these pictures claiming that they're from other places in my other groups in my area.
Oh, excuse me.
You laugh. This is stuff that will get you killed.
While things were ramping up in terms of the harassment Jordy was receiving, they seem to have died down again as he bared bad news that most members of his community, whether troll or regular viewer, could sympathize with.
But she goes the nurse is supposed to be coming over to clarify it, and they're gonna be removing the body. And do you want to come over and see her one last time? I'm like,
oh, his grandmother passed away.
I don't want to remember her in the shape she was in, and that I already got to remember her from last week because I went to see her because they told me like she wasn't doing very well, and like yeah, she had cancer, and she had lung cancer, but like she couldn't like move her arms or legs or anything. Like her nervous system was completely gone.
But I gotta remember that face.
It's just like I'm selfish with death because like I don't want to go to her funeral, and I didn't want to go see her last week, but like I felt like I owed it to her because she was asking for me. There's two things I don't wish on anybody: to watch somebody slowly die from cirrhosis of the liver, and to watch somebody die from cancer. Either one. Very good.
Jordy's grandmother was someone who, while growing up, played a very large role in raising him. It made it all worse when he was in the unfortunate position of watching her deteriorate in hospice care. Though there were the usual comments and claims that Jordy was streaming for sympathy to encourage donations, in moments such as these, there was a rare community unification. A viewer even sent Jordy a painting in remembrance of his grandmother.
Wow.
Though this piece didn't last long. In November of 2020, the trolling resumed to its typical amount. As for a short...
So, one thing that confused me in the original React last year, and now in this one too, his living situation. Because at one point, he was living with his mother, but then he paid off. Like, his mother almost extorted him to pay off where he was living. That was one of the things in the first one. And then he was with his grandmother, and him and his grandmother, like you said, were living together and taking care of each other. So his grandmother passed away. So at this point now, is he living alone, or is he living with his fiance, and that's it? There's no other family involved at this point? I'm just trying to make sense of the situation, because it's confusing at this point. Obviously, he was living with his grandmother up to this point, right? But then that happened, so now it's just him by himself in his home, right? No, I know his grandmother was in care for a while because of the cancer. I get that. What I'm saying is, at this point, is he by himself, or is he now living with his fiance? Because this is what we're trying to figure out. Is he by himself now for the first time? It's confusing. No one's really giving me answers. I don't know. Because it was confusing in the first documentary, too. I couldn't make heads or tails of, like, who's he living with? Who's he with what? You know what I mean? He's married. So, okay. So, at this point in the timeline, they're married and they're together and they're living together and it's just them. No other family members. Okay. That's what people are saying. Okay. All right. Trying to understand it.
Short period during this month, he was banned from Twitch and believes it was influenced by the trolls.
Oh, what a shocker.
Another event, possibly involving them, was when Jordy, determined to purchase a scalped PS5 and driving 2 hours to pick it up, turned out to be a waste of time.
Huh.
At least that's the way it seemed initially, because about an hour later, he still obtained the console.
Huh?
What drew viewers' attention in Jordy's streams after obtaining his new gaming console was in fact not the console, but the shirt he was wearing. Insignificant at first glance, until viewers took note that this was one of the shirts Jordy wore pre-surgery, meaning that he's possibly close to, if not back to his original weight. Another recently discovered health-related issue was now his low levels of testosterone.
My testosterone T is a 240, and the reference range is 264 to 916.
Stay frosty.
And my testosterone free is 13.2. I don't know what that means.
To make matters worse, the antidepressant Lexapro was supplemented with another known as Effexor that initially had a strong and pleasant impact, but it took only a few months for this to lose its effectiveness as well. With the weight gain...
Again, he's talking about all his health stuff on stream, and that's just going to lead to worse... Let me put it this way. Talking about all that on stream is not going to make things better. It may not make things worse, but it's certainly not going to make things better. So why share that stuff with your audience, especially when you have such a big troll audience, right? Don't talk about your T levels. Don't talk about any of that shit. They don't need to know about that, right? Alessandro, you're right. I share stuff, but I don't share. Do you know what health issues I have besides gout, which was inadvertent, 8 years ago? And postnasal drip because you hear it. Do you know about all my other health issues? You don't, and I have them. You don't know what the fuck I'm going through. I'm not sitting here, exactly, I'm not sitting here as a pity party, right? I don't want, as I said, if people are going to come to my streams, and you're going to watch my content, and you're going to support me for the content, and support me because you like me or my personality. Don't support me because it's a pity party because I feel I'm sick or whatever. You don't need to know about that shit, right? So, that's what I mean. Like, it's just going to get worse for you if you do that shit. I know that, you know. That's why I won't tell you about my health shit. You don't need to know about it, you know. So that's what I'm talking about. You're setting yourself up for further disaster. So I do feel like some of the things that happened to him are completely not his fault. People go way too far. But then every once in a while, he has a bad habit. And one of these bad habits is I must talk about I have to show you all the cars I'm interested in. Why? People don't need to know about that. I have to talk about my T level. Why would you do that? It's just going to blow up. It's just going to be the next negative thing about you, right? So there's definitely got to be a line drawn there. And at this point, this is still 2020. I still don't think the line's been drawn. You know what I mean?
The newfound method of trolling Jordy by using Jordy's likeness and the ineffectiveness of his antidepressants ended 2020 in a much different state than the year began.
Okay, 2021.
The silver lining was that there was a lack of interest, as there was some control in his life, and the trolls were not as present as they were, or at least were going to be. With many troll channels across the spectrum recirculating compilations of Jordy's controversial statements about race, children, and now more frequently, his stories and video segments of alleged animal abuse. There are a few notable stories that Jordy has told specifically of cats. One directly on his channel when, allegedly at the age of 5, he trapped a kitten under a bucket and forgot to release it, and only remembered about it years later.
Wait, I think someone did tell me about this at some point, but I just ignored it.
Outside, I was shooting basketball, and this cat comes along. We had these 5-gallon buckets, so I took a 5-gallon bucket, and I was like, bloop, and I basically I left the bucket on top of him because the cat couldn't move the bucket, and he ended up dying under there.
What? Oh my god!
Recently, there were other clips when shifting his chair, he possibly run over his dog, having it squeal, and in another clip, he claims to shake his barking dog's cage, though the narrative around that is that he hit the cage. These moments range widely in time that they happened, but to new viewers, it was all the same. So as 2021 progressed, the circulation of these moments increased ever so slightly, but they were finding difficulty in achieving their intended virality. That's not to say that they were not effective. Jordy managed to reinvigorate the wrong kind of interest in him, sourced from what he previously called being selfish with death, that gained attention.
I don't know, like, you reinvigorated the negativity or the tension. I don't know if it ever went away from what I'm seeing. I mean, yeah, they're saying there was a downtick because Sean Ranklin stopped making videos, but it doesn't seem like it ever stopped. It wasn't like, oh, public opinion on this man has flipped, and now he's a positive light or beloved. They never stopped. They never let him alone. Maybe there was a small decline in it, but I seriously, like, I don't know. Like, to me, I don't know if this is completely feeling like, oh, now because of his actions, the trolling came back. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if it was his fault. It seems like it never really went away, right? So, anyway, so now people are mad at me. Oh, you skipped the cat abuse. Like, what do you want me to do? Sit here and shit on him constantly? Like, it's a story he told. Is it true? If it's true, it's fucked up. But the guy doesn't constantly abuse animals. I think it's a story from his youth, wasn't it? It's very fucked up if this really happened. Yeah, of course he shouldn't have done that, right? And it's terrible. But, what does that have to do with what he's doing today? People are like, oh, he ran over his dog. Did you know what he did? I mean, you heard a squeal. It doesn't mean nothing. And again, it's a lot of assumptions. It's a lot of logic jumps that I don't know if they amount to anything. When you have this microscope on you constantly, people will tend to hear and see what they want to hear and see, as opposed to what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? Again, I don't know. I'm going by what I just saw, and from what I just saw, it's not a big thing, but maybe it was. Maybe you guys know more than I do, because people in the chat are like, oh, it's a big thing. I don't know. Not from what we just saw. You heard a squeal off camera, and you heard him slapping a kennel around or something, you know? And he told a story about his childhood that he killed a cat in a bucket. Okay? It's bad. Yeah, it's bad. Doesn't mean that he does horrible things to animals now. Right? Like, what? I don't get it. And I'm an animal lover, and I still don't get that. There's a million other things that are going on here, and this is the thing people focused on. It just seems like this was the next thing. It's kind of like, again, and I'm sorry, I have to put it on me. To me, there's always another thing. There's one thing, okay, that's the focus. Oh, no, there's a new thing. Focus on that. Then the next thing, focus on that. Then the next thing, focus on that. It never ends. It's just, there's always something new that people want to shit on you for, right? It's like, so this is just a new thing to me. It's almost like, whatever. Another thing to emphasize, another thing to say is horrible, another thing to blow up. Until another thing happens, then they'll never mention this again. Right? I'm not defending him. If he actually murdered a cat when he was a kid, that's fucked up. Yeah, it's fucked up. Shouldn't have happened. And hopefully, you know, he's a good pet parent. I don't want pets getting hurt. But I'm also not going to sit here and dwell on it because we don't know the truth of the situation. Right? Okay, let's continue.
For 3 reasons. First, that the event was re-uploaded by Sean Ranklin, the same creator that had not uploaded in well over a year.
Oh, it came back.
And this was, to many, enough for him to return from his hiatus. The video in question, uploaded on March 7, 2020, is titled Wings of Redemption Ignores His Crying Wife for Dark Souls Disaster Stream. The video starts with Jordy stating that he is streaming before he leaves to attend a celebration of life, which can also be considered to be done alongside or in replacement of a funeral. And being that his grandmother passed about 5 months prior, it is believed to be her remembrance.
What? 5 months? That doesn't make sense to me. 5 months later, there was a celebration of her life. Why did... What? No. Those things usually happen relatively quickly. You know, anyone in my family who's passed away, you know, there's a wake and a funeral right away, within a week. Why would it be 5 months later? That doesn't make sense at all to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's never, I mean, my family, anyone who's passed away, it's you know, relatively fast. I've never heard of a 5-month wait.
I'm just trying to squeeze a stream in before I gotta go do the celebration of life thing.
As the stream progressed, it is apparent Jordy made the last-second choice not to attend, and notifies his wife via text messages just moments before they were meant to leave.
Yeah.
Hey.
There's Bailey.
What's that bell?
What's happening?
Nothing.
Nothing. I want to talk to you.
We'll talk when I'm done streaming.
When will that be?
I don't know.
So you want to just kind of wait around?
I texted you and said that I wasn't going to the thing that
Yeah,
you
but you text me 15 minutes before I should be here and ready.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Maybe that was a little late.
Might have been. I don't know.
Can you not take like a 5-minute break?
No, because it's going to be more than a 5-minute conversation.
Failing to convince Jordy to go, she gets frustrated to the point of crying.
I'm good with you shutting me out.
Oh, God. This is fucking excruciating. Oh, God. This is so hard to watch again.
Whatever.
Quiet, huh? No commentary.
Grace, what are you doing, bud?
Fucking go on.
All right, guys, I gotta hand the stream.
I'll see you guys in a bit.
What they don't understand is my wife will cry at the change of bariatric pressure in the atmosphere.
What? What did he just say? My wife cries with the change of bariatric pressure in the atmosphere. I'm going to play a little further.
Though Jordy said bariatric, which can be defined as relating to or specializing in treatment of obesity, he most likely meant barometric pressure in the atmosphere, as to say his wife is very sensitive and her crying in that moment did not mean much. But it meant much to others, as reason number 2 for this getting such attention was, of course, his wife crying, and reason number 3 was the alleged backing out of attending his grandmother's funeral. So for others, like the members of PKA, Jordy's excuses were hardly convincing.
This is so...
Oh my god. Oh. Oh, I have to say something. Oh, Jesus. Oh, yay. Oh. Hold on. Oh. Okay. Okay, no, geez. I guess I really have to pick this apart. I have to. All right, number 1. Don't mention you're going to anyone's funeral on your stream. Ever. Bad idea. No one needs to know that. Celebration of life, funeral, whatever it is. Doesn't matter if it's your grandmother. Doesn't matter if it's your family member. Doesn't matter if it's a friend. Doesn't matter if it's someone in your wife's side of the family. Doesn't matter who it was. No one needs to know about that. I got something very important I got to do today. Sorry, I got to go. Not telling them that personal shit. No, that's number 1. That's just number 1. Okay? Number 2. Obviously, this is not the way to go about it. If something is happening serious business shit going on, and it's obviously has nothing to do with your live stream, okay? You absolutely must draw the line, and you must separate yourself. Again, what's private, what's public, what's personal, what's business, right? Basically, this situation happened because there was an unfortunate crossover between something that was obviously very private going on and his stream. That should have never happened. The moment that there was some kind of tension, the moment that there was anything going on here where it was private information like that, he should have ended the stream. Or say, I'm taking an extended break. Something is going on that needs to be handled. It's, I'm going to be professional about this. You gotta take this off the stream. It seems, again, I'm going off of what happened in the documentary. What we saw, there was apparently on live, he made it, first of all, he told his audience he's going to this. Wrong. Big mistake. Okay? Then, he decides on the fly he's not going. Does he stop his stream to go off stream to have the conversation with his wife, saying this is very important, I've decided I'm changing, you know what I'm saying? Didn't do that. He texts her live during the stream to keep the stream going. That is bad. Bad choice number 1, telling your audience what is going on in your private life. Bad choice number 2, not stopping the stream, okay, to go talk to your wife about this change. Because apparently she's very upset. She was getting ready to go, right? And he changes on the fly when obviously she's already getting ready to go. He changes his mind. He should have stopped the stream right there. So I'll be back after this, let me go and talk to my wife about something important. I'll be right back. Right? Mistake number 3. She comes in to talk to him about it. Now, this is unfortunate. We're all human. Humans have emotions. There's drama in humans' lives, things that happens. At any moment, this door might open and my wife might come through and say something very important to me that I need to know in the moment, right? I'm not going to blame her for that. But at the same time, it could happen, right? You don't know what's going to happen. But if it happens, again, it's unfortunate. Okay, we have to stop, everyone. This has to be, it's important. It has to be handled immediately. It's super important, right? What is really going on here that's so important that you can't stop your stream, right? And in my case, if anything ever happened like that, I would immediately stop the stream and say, okay, I'll come back in a few, or I'll come back when I can. Something has to be handled off stream, everybody. That's, in my opinion, that's what should have happened. So mistake number one, even telling anyone about your private shit that's going on. Mistake number two, basically texting someone that's very important to you off stream to tell it huge, just stop the stream and go handle it and come back. And then number three, right? Don't, when the person's now here, the person's in the stream talking. All right, stopping the stream. We're gonna take care of that. Okay. So there's like 3 critical mistakes. Then now you're already in the situation, right? Now the situation's unfolding live. And some people are saying it was messed up because he continued the stream. His wife is audibly crying. You hear her on the stream constantly crying about the situation. He should have stopped the stream. Some people are actually saying, oh, well, maybe he didn't hear the crying because he had the headphones on, right? I guess you could say that's a fair point. But at the very same time, again, you have to draw the line. What is more important in this situation? This stream, you could easily go back to that stream at any moment. It's going to come back. Just because you walked away for the stream to handle something personal doesn't mean that that stream is gone for good. That stream is going to continue, or you could do another stream. Your personal relationship is more important. All right? It just is. And, you know, in that situation, I don't think I can defend any of those actions. Like, I mean, I try. No, I don't think I can, man. Like, that was rough. That was rough to even watch unfold. Because that happened. Unlike the other things where people are guessing, oh, we guess he abused his animals and things. Those are guesses based on bullshit information, half-truth. That's something that definitively just happened, right? And it's 100% documented it happened. It's hard to really misconstrue. I mean, there's details you can misconstrue. Was it his grandmother's funeral or celebration of life? Was it someone else? That's like semantics. It doesn't even matter. What matters is we saw what happened, man. And that's a terrible, horrible thing that happened. Now, you can't defend that. I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. If he's pissed at me because I'm saying that, I don't care. I gotta be honest. I can't defend what just happened there. All right? But the question is, did he learn from it? Did this personal situation happen? And then he said, okay, man, I fucked up bad. That was the worst way to handle it. I should have just immediately stopped the stream, handled the personal thing, and come back, or just ended the stream and come back later. Did he learn from it? Because if he learned from it, then you can forgive him and you can move on. Okay? But the question is, did he learn from it? And that's, I guess we're going to find out. We still got an hour left in the documentary, correct? So hopefully we'll get our answers on that. I would love to see that he learned from that and there's some redemption or something. You know what I'm saying? You know, I seriously hope that that was the case. I guess we'll find out. But anyway, we're at the end of a part here, everyone. So I'm going to split the part here, and we're going to continue to come back. There's way more to go in this react. Thanks for watching. Again, if you're enjoying this, please, if you could like the video, leave some comments. Let me know your thoughts on this situation. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what's going on here. Your take. You guys probably have way more information than me. I'm just watching this documentary for the first time, but I love your take. All right, I know all of this. All right, remember the ways to celebrate. To support this channel would be becoming a member, possibly a tip. You know, super chat, super thanks, whatever you can do. All great ways to support. Thanks for watching. Many more parts to come. Thanks for watching this long. I'll be back shortly.